Cold call, cold outreach, reaching out to a prospect you don't know. We all are going to do it at least one time in our career. And maybe you're in a position where you don't have to do that right now. Congratulations. But for many of us, we still have to reach out to people. We still have to talk to people on the phone. And sometimes we may not be the best at doing it. You can always improve. And in this episode, we're going to talk to you about how you can double your contact, double the number of individuals that you get with. I'm talking about actually speak with and get appointment to. And in today's episode, my friend David Walter is going to tell you what he did and how he has done this for others and how it can help you in your sales effort as well. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Kelly, the Sales Evangelist, and I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And as I mentioned in a teaser, my friend David is on the show, and David is an entrepreneur. He's a sales rep at one point in his life. He's a sales leader. He is an author, and David is going to give us some good stuff, man, some things that he's learned as he's worked with teams, led teams, and also coached and guided teams. So these are some really good wisdoms, but it's going to talk to us about how we can double our cold contact, how we can double the number of appointments, double those opportunities that we get. It's fun, it's great, and it's action-packed. So let's go ahead and dive into the episode. Welcome to the show, David.
Hey, very excited to be on the show, Donald. You focus on sales and B2B sales and listen to a lot of your some of your podcasts, and you've got great nuggets out there of help. And I was like, I just can't wait to you have so much excitement. And I mean, as a presenter, it's like this guy ought to be on TV presenting, all kinds of stuff. And he's just a born presenter with a great voice. So I was like, I can't wait to be on his podcast. And I listened to your mindset versus skill set.
Oh man,
which
thank
had
you.
some great nuggets in there. The answer is really a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But in the end, if you had to go with just one, mindset, and that's something I believe in, is that if you can tap into your subconscious mind, even if you don't have the skill sets,
Yeah.
your subconscious mind will find them. They'll filter them out, find them, and then you can get the skill sets.
Yeah, just something about that. Like I feel that you're going to, it will make it happen somehow, because it's there's the course that we're working with. It's the thought pattern for high performance sales reps, and this course that we designed with the Pacific Institute or worked with them on, it's the great thing about it is that there's this thing called your RAS, the part of your brain really that just collects and sifts data information. And when you have that mindset, so if a mindset that I'm going to buy a Mercedes, then all of a sudden you're going to see more Mercedes, and because your RAS is filtering those, and then it's going to you might be more keen to listen to or pay attention to content talking about how to get a Mercedes or whatnot. It just is amazing, and people call it the secret, but it's really just your brain just bringing stuff to your subconscious that you're probably not paying attention to all the time.
Yeah, habits.
Yeah,
you focus on it, and then it can get into your basal ganglia. All that stuff. And I just mentioned Jeremy McGilliary, his other book, CEO, which is all about the subconscious mind. So you'll love, I'll introduce you to him. You're going to love him,
Listen, look at this guy. We haven't even started the episode yet, and he's delivering tons of value, guys. So, now, speaking about this, I want to talk to you. I bragged about you in a teaser there, talking about you and introducing you. But tell us about, what do you do, David? You have a book as well. Why don't you tell us about you and your book and what you do?
Yeah. I wrote a book. It took me about 5 years about a year and a half to write it, but 2.5 years of research and marketing, all that, started to get it published, all that stuff, edited, but it finally came out. But what I do now is coaching.
Yeah.
I ran a call center. We'll get in. I don't know how much only have about 30 minutes, but I ran a call center for 13 years. But before that, what the book is about is where I really did hardcore B2B cold calling.
Oh my, yeah.
I worked at MBNA America Bank before that. Then I worked for my dad and helped him sell $1 million worth of HVAC equipment. I kind of copied an ad that I saw, and we ran a full-page ad, and we sold $1 million worth of air conditioning. But then we hit the 90s recession. I don't know if you remember that, but everything went bust. I think we oversold the market too. So he went bankrupt, and I had to find a job, and I found one at a company called CSI, which is kind of the story that in the book. It talks about what happened there. Is I needed to make more money. The people weren't really, the the plan for sales commission was amazing,
Mm.
as always, right? Oh, it's reaches the sky. Sky's the limit. But you get there, and the reality is that people were just setting 2 appointments a day. Nobody was even touching
Yeah.
the commission, maxing it out. And so I was like, what am I going to do? Because I need to help my dad. He's losing his home. They were actually living in my apartment, and I wanted to buy some land and build a house.
Yeah.
I want to make a lot more money. And so, talk about mindset. I picked up a copy of Zig Ziglar's See You at the Top. It was they had a little library there, and I grabbed that. But I had read Awake the Giant Within and other books about the subconscious mind. And this one just kind of resonated with me, and it's the first time I took action.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're an accomplished guy. So there's a difference between reading something and taking action.
A to the men on that one. We all have those, we all have books. We all have those audiobooks where we listen to it. And this is why I'm a big believer in mastermind, and why our company, we have our sales mastermind. A lot of people listen to our podcast, and we tell them to join one of our masterminds, our sales mastermind, where you can actually put the stuff in action and have that accountability, as opposed to just listening. I don't want you to listen. I want you to listen and apply. That's when you see results, and you're going to come back and you're going to say, crap, David shared some good stuff there on Donald's podcast, because you applied.
Yeah. Because you meet a lot of people that read all these books. I was speaking at Chambers all year, a couple years ago. And I just asked people, how many have read all these books on the subconscious mind, blah, blah, blah. All the hands go up. And I'd say, so who has a vision board? No hands would go up. Nobody has a vision board. Who has a mantra, self mantra? Nobody's doing it. So we have very few people that take action. But anyway, so this resonated with me. And I think it's because you read so many books until finally one of them clicks with you.
Yeah.
And I started, his thing was look in the mirror. And this is where that whole thing in Saturday Night Live came from, Stuart Smalley.
Yeah.
They were making fun of the Zig Ziglar movement of people claiming their qualities in the mirror. Hi, I'm Stuart Smalley, and I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.
Yeah.
So people think it's funny, but I did it. I looked in the mirror, and what I had decided was, like they were setting 2, and I realized if I set 15 a day, that I would max out my commission and make all the bonuses and everything. And so, when I didn't know how to do 15. I mean, the idea of how to get there, I didn't know, to our point about this mindset versus skill set. So I just started looking in the mirror and said, I'm going to get 15 appointments. And I would do it with that passion, that belief. And I did it for months. And at the end of that time period, I set 15 appointments. It all clicked for me. And so I guess we're going to get into, you've got some questions for me.
Yeah.
And that's what the book was, because what was funny, I walked away from that and didn't realize that I had revolutionized the concept of cold calling from the ground up.
Yeah.
All the principles that people hold, like cold calling's a numbers game or stuff like that, I shattered. And I'm still trying to get that message. So I appreciate you, Donald, getting me this platform to help people, because once we can shatter those myths, it's so much easier. It is so much easier to cold call that people can make a lot more money if they would just open their eyes up to it again and say, well, maybe it can work. Yeah.
So let's dive into it. We want to focus on how to double your cold calling contacts. What is the biggest mistake right now you would say people have when it comes towards cold calling?
The biggest mistake, I was just coaching a company in Plano, and I did all this training with the SDRs. Yeah. A lot of the stuff I have now, video series I've created that people can get to, get all the secrets from me. Yeah. But I was doing it in person, and I trained them on all these secrets and everything, and scripts, objections, all this stuff. I put them on the phone. Because when I do it live, I want to be there with them and watch them and help them. Yeah. So crickets for 5 hours, nothing except for bad number, wrong number. He's not here anymore. That's not the controller. It was just and they were looking at me and they're like, we can't get a hold of anybody. And I'm like, dude, I've been doing this most of my life. It's not your fault. I know it's bad data. Yeah. So they buy lists. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say there's a study that I was looking at. Wasn't numbers. I have it written down here too. It's 17% of contact information will be incorrect. And this is even under good circumstances, right? And then about 55% of the people you call right then and there probably won't answer at that given moment. But data being, it's so high. I mean, 17%, that could be detriment to a sales rep's day, right? But I think you're going on to the point now of how you can get that good data.
Yeah. And it's funny because, for years when I had my own call center, I was always on the hunt for the perfect list.
Oh my.
The perfect list that's qualified. And, people make all these claims. This is double verified. This
Yeah.
is, and of course I get it and it's bunk. So I finally just dispensed looking for that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, that perfect list. And I said, just give me the basic format of all the companies' names in a simple CRM, like ones I heard you talk about, Crumble.
Yeah.
Get a shout out to one of your sponsors there. Yeah. And so with the CRM, I just put all the data in there. I just have the basic data, and I developed the script to call and get people to give me the information. The
What was
point
that
is,
script?
yeah, yeah. If you don't know the name of the person you're calling for,
Yeah.
for example, I'm calling a sales evangelist,
Mhm.
and I want to talk to whoever's in charge.
Yeah.
And I call in. I'm like, I'm calling for your owner.
Yeah.
You're not going to get through. You're not going to get through.
Let me to get some information. We'll have you call you back. He's unavailable right now.
Yeah. But if I know Donald, I know you, and I use your first name.
Yeah.
When you use someone's full name, you sound like a marketer.
Yeah.
Right? People that know people, they don't call in for the full name. They call in, hey, is Sam in? So what I try to do is listen to the natural calls. I went back to when I worked for the distributorship.
Yeah.
And I would answer the phone sometimes when people call for the president, for these different people, and they'd be like, "Hey, is Bob in?" Or transfer me to Susan, right?
Yeah.
That's confidence, but they didn't need confidence because they already had a relationship. They were just a natural call. Hey, transfer me over to Donald. I have a relationship with you. You're going to take my call. Transfer me over.
Yeah.
And so, but to do that, you've got to qualify the information. Once you have a list of actual information that's actually correct, that combined with the other secret can double your contacts. And so just to let people know, your list of your audience, it's kind of the yes principle is what I do. I call, it's like this. The most simplest thing that I know someone would answer to would be your address.
Yeah.
And I find that when I call a receptionist, they give that out so often that when I call and say, hey, Donald, can I have your address? They just, part of their brain, the access by rote. They just start telling me that it's 2529 Smithsonian Avenue, da. And so I bypassed other parts of their brain that have gates on them, to block people. And I dive right into that. And I ask them a different question, address. I try to ask the easy questions and get them opened up, talking. And then little by little, I start to qualify and get more questions for them. But, then I'll just, because when I don't act like I'm trying to get a hold of somebody, I'm just getting information. To mail something out is what I tell people.
Yeah.
I just want to mail something. So we're not trying to get a hold of anybody. Just want to mail something out. And I get to the point of, it's always a financial matter, right? That's the key, because I want to be mystifying, but not lie.
Yeah.
But everything you're selling has financial matter to it, right?
Yeah.
That's one of my key secrets. If you're listening, write that down. Because, what's this call about? It's a financial matter. Some evasive. But they don't know it. They think that's what I'm about. And usually we'll talk to the guy with the money, which is the CFO.
Yeah.
The controller, right? So, oh, by the way, I want to get this to the person, this information. Now I've got your address. And I'll also ask them, is this your corporate office, right? To make sure that I'm not, because that's a wasted lead.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's another part of all the bad calls. No, the corporate office is in Kalamazoo. It's not here in Denver. It's not in, where you're located. So is this your corporate office? And then I even ask, oh, by the way, how many employees do you have? Lots of companies. If it's too small, it's a bad lead. If it's too big, it's a bad lead. So I got all that data right there. I know it's not it is the corporate office. They've got 50 employees, so that's a qualified lead. And I have their exact address verified now, right? Not 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then what I do is I'll say, and by the way, who is it, that handles the finance for the company of a financial matter? And then I'll, like CFO, controller, you have to kind of probe.
Yeah.
Because different companies use different titles, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about Susan. Yeah. I want to address this. I want to address this to Susan. Could you give me her name? And so, Susan, I get the full name. And I say, by the way, can you verify her email? And believe it or not, half the time they give it to me because I say verify. So I go through that script, right? And you call and you get, now what I do is, the other secret too is when I'm doing this is I look on LinkedIn first. I look on LinkedIn first, then I'll call. I don't just call every lead. I look on LinkedIn,
Why is that?
web search, to see
Why
if
do
they
you
have the. Go ahead.
why do you do LinkedIn first?
Because sometimes they'll have the information on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
You can search on the name of the company, and
Yeah.
it'll list all the employees. You click all, and it'll list them all. And you go through, you see the CFO, and I'll pull the website up of the company, and I'll match if they match, then I'll put that down.
Yeah.
And then what I would do when I qualify it, because I'll still call anyway, I'll
Yeah.
just say Donald's still the CFO,
Yeah.
which sounds great. When you say I want to talk to Donald, you sound like an idiot if he's not there anymore.
Donald hasn't been here for 5 years. And the crazy one, I had this one on my team. We were doing some training with one of our BDRs, and they called into a company, and the person was deceased. It didn't say anything on LinkedIn. They've been deceased for, it's like 6 months or whatever. But it felt so bad. Not being as prepared for that call. So
That's happened to me before.
yeah.
But I just want to give them the tip they could actually, because what I found is besides all of the other tips I have in the book, this is one of the easiest ones to rectify. And like it says in the title, you can literally double your calls with that. And I don't know if do you have any more questions about that? Because I was going to give you another secret.
Yes, give me another secret. I do want to get the numbers game, because that's a one that I noticed you said you're popular with this one. You say that cold calling isn't a numbers game, and you use a system to call random marketing. And I wanted to get you to go a little bit more into that.
Absolutely. That's what I got right here.
Oh, look at that. See, we're in sync. Let's go into that one then.
Yeah, and that's on my book cover. Cold calling is not a numbers game. Because that's one of the reasons, because when I would get reviews for my book, for Amazon, I would go into Starbucks and have gift cards and, hey, would you give me a review for my book? And they're like, what's it about? And I'd say cold calling. Like, oh, cold calling. Like you said in one of your podcasts, you have to kiss a lot of frogs to find a prince. That's what people think.
Yeah.
It's hard. And that's my whole mission in life, is to get people to realize that cold calling actually, just like anything in life, if you're trying to wakeboard and you fail, you're doing it the hard way.
Yeah. You don't know the proper way.
Yeah, you come right up, you do it, you know how to do it, it's easy, right? Snowboarding, and whatever you pick, if you're doing it easy and it looks easy, because it actually is when you know how to do it. And so here's a rule of thumb. If you're doing something and it's hard, it's because you don't know how to do it. Because when you know how to do it, it's easy, no matter what it is in life.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. And so cold calling isn't a numbers game. What I've just watched in fascination, how people just beat their head against this and don't realize what's happening. If I call a consecutive, because I really got the understanding of this by watching the Pursuit of Happiness.
Yes.
With Will Smith, because he was calling the sheets from the bottom to the top.
Yeah.
Have you seen that YouTube?
Yeah.
I could never get from the bottom to the top, because he came in late and he wouldn't drink, water, and he wouldn't go to the bathroom. He didn't hang the phone up, all that. And he still couldn't get from the bottom to the top. And so what I realized, what he was talking about is that's what people do. They call consecutively. Maybe in a CRM, it's still consecutive.
Yeah.
From the first lead to the number lead 100 in order. That's what I call the numbers game. Call 100 prospects and you call them in order. Right? That's what people are doing.
Yeah.
And so what he did was literally, you watch him, he hadn't got to the top. So he just starts to skip. And he goes all the way to the top to Walter Ribbon.
Yeah.
So he calls out of order. He makes a random call and gets lucky, strikes gold with Walter Ribbon. He doesn't buy from him, but he invites him to that game where he meets all those people he networks with and became the number one guy, right? And so the key there, at random, because that's the thing. What do people, when you call and the person's not there, what do they say?
You can leave a voicemail or send some information.
They also say he's at the bank.
Oh, which bank is he at? Let me go.
He's at the bank. He's in a conference call.
Yeah.
Right. He's out of the country. He's on a call. Right. And people think they're lying. They think they're being evasive. But actually, what they're telling you is the truth. Is that these people are dynamic.
Yeah.
Their status of being available for a call is, if you think about look at the whole list and think of a yellow, green, red.
Yeah.
By each number, they would be flashing constantly. At the bottom, I just called 5 people. They were all not in. And by the time I called the 6th company, Two of the people I already call is green.
Yeah.
The guy's by his phone now. Do you understand that? Can you see that? And so
I am. I'm visualizing it.
it's constantly changing. And so by the time I get to the top, you miss everybody.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe I made one contact. Right. But what I was doing, what I had to do, what I knew to get 15 people a day,
Yeah.
I would have to contact at least 40 people, 40 contacts.
Yeah.
To at least get 15. Right. And
Is that
so
what
I
a
got
3-to-1
contacts.
ratio then? Somewhere around there?
Yeah. So I got 40 contacts by qualifying my own list. The company didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
Right. They should have done. Smart companies, if you're listening and you have a sales team, smart companies have somebody qualify the list that's not a salesman. Right?
Yeah.
You're wasting their time.
Yeah.
And if you give a sales team qualified data, they don't have to spend all day on the phone.
No. They're focusing.
30 to 40, maybe 50, maybe 100 leads that are all qualified.
Yeah.
I'll nurse through these because what you do is the key to the numbers game is you have to call each name, each company 3 times a day for up to 3 to 4 days.
So 3 times a day for 3 to 4 days. And 3 times a day for up to 3 to 4 days. Okay.
You dramatically increase your chances of reaching that person.
But let's say you get a hold of the same gatekeeper. Do you talk to the gatekeeper at 3 different times throughout the day, or do you not talk to the gatekeeper?
That's a great question, because people are afraid of doing this because they fear they're going to burn the list.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is the truth. I mean, I've been in that shoe where I'm like, dang, I don't want to burn my list. I'd have to do this all over again. I know how tough it was to get this list in the first place.
And if you do it the wrong way, you will burn the list. So it's a real fear. But if you do it the right way, you will not burn the list. We talked about it earlier. The right way is to minimize what you say and call and make it a natural call that sounds like a vendor or somebody. Don't lie. I'm not saying don't say I'm a vendor. Don't lie.
Yeah.
But if you say, hey, this is Bob. I'm calling for Steven.
Yeah.
Use first names. They don't know. It's like in law is if there's a reasonable doubt.
Yeah. That's my favorite statement. Reasonable doubt.
There's a reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
They don't want to jump out and get it. You may be the friend of the owner. And they don't want to upset you. And so if you say, this is Steve, I'm calling for Bob, they have no idea what company you're even calling from. Right?
Yeah.
You're just a Steve that day. And how many Steves call in?
Tons of Steves call.
Yeah. And so what happens, and don't leave a voicemail. Because when you leave a voicemail, then you have a recording of who you are, the company you're calling from. And if you leave a voicemail every time you call, the guy's got 10 voicemails from you. And guess what? You have burned that list.
Yeah.
Go to the front and say, this guy calls, don't ever answer.
Yeah. So
you don't leave a voicemail, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah.
Don't leave a voicemail and minimize what you say on the phone and just keep it short and sweet. Hey, this is David. I was calling for Donald.
Yeah.
Can you try Donald's line? I change it up. What I do is when I'm calling, because I know it's random out there.
Yeah.
I don't use the same opening every time. I just keep changing it. And I'll come back. Try his line. And then here's the other tip that I found really, really works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm calling for Donald, but he's probably already gone for the day.
Oh, no, he's not actually. He's still in. You want me to put you in?
Exactly. And so what I'm doing is I'm mimicking the negative attitude that gatekeepers and receptionists tend to have, because they're more low-paid people. They're $1 a day. They're waiting around for lunch and to clock out at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll have little liners is like, it's not 5 o'clock yet. Before I even said who I am, and they're like, I know. I'd be like, hey, let's turn the clocks to 5. Nobody will know. You turn yours, I'll turn mine. Like, okay, all right. And that's I've distracted them, and I'm like, by the way, Donald's probably already gone for the day. And that negativity makes people want to be positive. You flip them.
Yeah.
Like you said, no, he's actually in.
Yeah.
But it's also be like you don't care.
Yeah.
And when you don't care about something, people are more likely to give it to you.
Yeah.
You're excited and amped up, and I was like, can you get me to Donald?
Yes, I have something that's going to be great for him. Blah, blah, blah.
But when you're lackadaisical and relaxed, and you act like you don't care.
Yeah.
And they don't care either.
Yeah.
Yeah, here, hold on, let me transfer you. The last one is this is a little bit more secret. The last one is a lot of people, they ask if Donald's in.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's a killer. You know what they do? They actually go to you
Yeah.
or call you to see if you're in. And when I call you, hey, Donald, are you there? Yeah, I'm there. What are you going to ask me?
What do you want?
Who's calling?
Yeah.
What are they calling about?
Yeah.
Then I go back to, I got David. Yeah, David, who's calling? You just created a nightmare,
Yeah.
a self-made hell.
Yeah.
I don't do that. What I just say is they want to check, and I say, well, you know what? You work so hard. I don't want to make more work for you. I want to make your job easier.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So I tell you what, if you want to just transfer the line, if Donald's there, great, I'll talk to him. If he's not, I'll just leave a voicemail. How's that sound?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, okay. And then
One less thing for me to worry about.
Yeah, I got a 50-50 shot.
Yeah. What's the
But
worst that can happen at that point? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So if you use all those techniques, you can, because we kind of dabbled into getting past the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
A little bit, but it's kind of a trifecta.
Yeah.
Qualifying your numbers game.
There's one more question that I want to ask, and this one is one that our team we had wrote down, which we're considering this interview. But you mentioned, you say it's not true that prospect must have a need. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
And why do you say that the prospect must have?
I'm glad we got into this. That's my favorite subject because really, more than anything, that is how people can make cold calling easy. Because if you've spent time on the phone,
yeah.
And our listeners that are doing cold calling right now will all testify that all prospects almost all say they're happy with what they have.
Yes, yes. We're
very
happy
few
with who
say
we're
they're not interested.
Yeah.
And very rarely do you hear somebody say, I am interested, right? That's a needle in a haystack.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so hard making cold calls, because you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. That's what everybody in my department, when I worked for that company, we're setting about 2 appointments a day.
Yeah, because the other thing with that too, I think the studies show about 2% or 3% of your market share is actually looking at any given time. So if I am trying to find that, it's like me, the way I always visualize it, David, is like looking at in the yard during fall with all the leaves turned over. You have 1,000 leaves, and then only 3% of those leaves have like something on the other side. So I'm going and flipping over all of these leaves, trying to find those leaves with something on it. And yeah, it's definitely going to be mind-boggling. But if they don't necessarily have to have a need, but I'm able to create that interest, which I will imagine you're alluding to, then that makes a bigger difference.
Oh, right? Absolutely. Because it takes a target like a golf ball hole.
Yeah.
And a golf course, which obviously I know you play golf, but it's impossible to do that in under 4 or 5 strokes.
Please don't talk about my handicap.
You made that hole this big. Imagine how easy if that was the whole size of a golf course,
bro.
Right?
I'll be easy. Sinking those hole in one all the time. Make the whole green a big hole.
Yeah. And so basically, since most people say, and this is what I had to think about, how am I going to make more money? If I'm trying to find a prospect with a need, I can't. But the only available opportunity for me is to try to flip over people who say they're happy.
Yeah.
So can you do it? Can you do it? Of course you can, because they're not saying no. That's the most powerful thing. They're not saying no. They're just saying that they like what they have. That doesn't rule out the possibility at looking at something else. Mm-hmm. And so one of the stories that I have is from The Power of Habit.
Oh, yeah. Love that book. Charles Duhigg.
Yeah. Great book. Mm-hmm. The story of Febreze, just real short and sweet on time. Simply, the first time they launched Febreze, the product failed. It failed. Mm-hmm. They brought in, they had a great product too, because it could get skunk smells out. And they're like, holy cow, that if it can get skunk smells out, it has unlimited power.
Yeah.
But it failed. It failed miserably. So they sent researchers out to figure out why did it fail? Why wasn't this unbelievable product well received by the public? When they came to this one house, and if you read the book, you remember them opening the door and the cat smells. The rancid odor of cat urine and cat hair and catness. overwhelmed them,
Yeah.
And they had to hold their nose back to go in and talk to this lady, and they asked her some questions, and they just said, "Did you buy Febreze?" Yes, she did. Did you use Febreze? Yes, I did. Why? For the cat smells. They asked the pivotal question: do you smell the cat smells now? If you use it for cat smells, and she replied, "No, I don't smell them."
No
They
smell.
smelled them. They smelled them, right? And so that was the big aha moment: is that they were selling Febreze to get out odors, but people couldn't smell their odors because they get used to them, because they're there every day. Every day, your nose gets used to that smell.
Yeah.
Visitors, when you go visit grandma,
Smells like grandma's house.
you can smell that. She can't smell it. But if I'm selling to you to get your odors out, it's pointless because you don't know you have odors, right? And the way this carries over, how this ties in, is that businesses can't smell their needs because they get used to the same old process. In fact, I read a book about the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
And this guy showed that the data they had already proved they would never win the war from interviewing the people that they had imprisoned. And he went to interview these people to find out about losing the war, this attitude, winning the war, losing the war, was attitude, and what the effect of bombing was having on these people. And because they survived the bombing, they weren't afraid of bombing, and bombing became normal.
Yeah.
Who
cares about napalm at this point?
And so that ties in. I mean, because the bombing never created a need for the people to want to like negotiate and find peace. In other words, they were happy with bombing.
Yeah.
If people in Vietnam can be happy with bombing, people can't smell their needs. There's all these pent-up needs that people have that they don't know about. And that's why it's so easy to set appointments with people that are happy with what they have.
Yeah.
Now, I'll tell you one story. If we have, let me know what our time limit is. But basically, I set this appointment. I did a lot of IT companies when I had my call center. Out in SATA Systems was the name of the company. They're now a huge company all over Canada and the U.S. Helped them get this first $1 million. I set an appointment, or was going to set an appointment with a law firm in L.A., and I got through to the office manager. She was happy with what she had. She told me she was happy all through the call. Yeah. But she listened because I had an innovative message about managed services 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And she listened because that's a flat fee for unlimited support versus paying per the hour, right?
Yeah.
Two different models. So she was curious, but in the end, she was still like, we're happy. And then I told her, well, I'll tell you what, it doesn't sound like you believe that a company really offers this unlimited support plan, because at the time it was unique, right? Yeah. Nobody did it. And so I said, let me do this. I know you're not going to change, right? You're happy with what you have, but let me at least let Tony, and this is where I make appointment setting personal. If I'm setting an appointment for somebody, I always make them name them. Donald. What's so great about Donald? He has a great podcast. You're going to love his voice. He's got charisma, all that stuff. And so, I'd sell Donald, or I'd sell Tony in this case. He's on a lot of boards. He donates his time. He networks a lot. Just meeting Tony is a great networking opportunity for you. But let me let Tony come in there and show you that a real business actually offers this, just so you know, right? Yeah. The idea is we're selling knowledge for the future. I'm about to write an article about how the devil can get your soul because he wants it in the future, not now.
Yes.
You can tell anybody something in the future. I could sell you ice to Eskimo. It's going to in the future, though. Don't worry about it now.
Yeah. It's not now. Credit card companies, in other words. Interest starts for 2 years. Starts in a year.
But so I convinced her to do it for knowledge for the future. But then she said, now, David, don't forget to tell Tony we're completely happy with what we have.
Yeah.
Now, if we gave that lead to any sales rep, we got a hot lead for you.
Yeah.
Like, where's the need?
Yeah.
Where's the pain? I don't have any. I don't want that lead. So here's what happened. 2 weeks later, Tony called me and said, follow up on that lead. I followed up. I got her on the phone, and I said, did Tony come out? Which I already knew. Yes. Was he professional? Yes. Did he pitch what we talked about on the phone? He pitched that. Yes. Did it make sense? Blah, blah, blah. And then she stopped me and she said, I just have one question, David. I was like, what's that? When am I going to switch? That's 2 weeks, Donald. 2 weeks after I talked to a person on the phone that told me at least 20 times they were completely happy with their current provider.
Yeah.
So can you sell to people?
Yes.
That are happy? Of course you can, and you can close those sales. I don't know, how much time do we have? Are you ready to wrap up? Or
yeah, we got to wrap up. I know somebody's driving home and they're like, Donald, I'm parked in a garage in the driveway. I'm still listening to David, but
that's 3 powerful secrets.
That's amazing. I love all of those, and I think they're if there's one major takeaway that you want someone listening to this episode, you want them to walk away with, because we talked about taking action. One major piece of advice. What's that advice, David?
Oh man, you got me on that one. The big advice would be to read my book.
Read the book if you want to double the sales. Come on, pick up the darn book.
Yeah, you gotta get my book and read it, or the audio or something like that. Pick it up.
Yeah.
But I do have getbookoffer.com where you get a free copy of my book. If you just put your contact information, it's the shipping and handling type deal where you just pay the shipping and handling. And I've got the whole video series also you can go through. If you get the book, you get a bunch of free videos, and there's a bunch of stuff you can get. But ultimately, all these video training series, because people don't really read that much. No. And if you're trying to get your employees to learn, like a sales team, and you say you read David's book, they may not do it. But you give them a bunch of videos, they're going to watch it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I love it, man. David, so we'll put that in our show notes so folks can get access to you. And if you're watching this episode right here on YouTube TV or TSE TV on YouTube, you can go ahead down below, and we have the link there as well, so you can get connected with David and check out his book. But David, man, thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate you.
Awesome, man. Thanks for helping get the word out.
Of course.
And I'll get the word out about your Sales Evangelist podcast.
Anytime, brother. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
That was David Walter, and I want to thank you so much for listening today. I want to thank you for watching this episode on TSE TV. I would encourage you to scroll down so you can get in contact with David. You can find all of his contact details down below. You can find information to his book as well as to his website and some of the other cool points that he shared from this episode. There are a lot of action-packed strategies, and if you want to find all the details, just go back to our show notes. Everything, again, is down below. If you're listening to this podcast, just swipe up on the cover art, and you'll see all of the details there. Also, check out Crumble. Crumble is an amazing tool. We have friends over there, and we use it internally, and I'm just telling you, Crumble is simple, powerful, and it works, and you don't have to get a sales engineer. Well, not even a sales engineer, a technology specialist to come in to set up your CRM. That's kind of stupid. Use something that is simple and easy, and your team can find results with, and this is why I recommend Crumble. You can see their name just popped up on the screen. Go ahead and check them out. Crumble, CRM, no U, CRMBLE.com/TSE. Also, check out our new course in partnership with the Pacific Institute. It's mind setting. It's something that we all need, no matter what industry you're in, no matter what product you sell. Check out that course as well. Go to thesalesevangelist.com/mindset. I share stuff like this because I want to help you. I know the struggle. I want you to succeed as well. I want you to find more of those ideal customers. I want you to know what to say when you meet with them. I want you to be able to close more deals. But most importantly, I want to challenge you each and every single day to go out and do big things. Thanks so much for watching. Hey, thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video today. If you enjoyed the content, I ask you to go ahead and hit that like button, that thumbs up in the bottom right-hand corner. Also, to make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. This way, we'll keep you up to date with all the latest sales strategies, latest tools, and things that are going to help you to not only find more prospects, but to close more deals. Thanks so much.